It became really clear to me in my business that it doesn't matter like what I want and what I do. If I don't work with the universe, it feels really freaking hard for me to reach my goals. Welcome to the Aligned and Magnetic Podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Ashley, intuitive business coach certified by the International Coaching Federation, and they call me the money mindset and manifestation queen. I take a spiritual and practical approach that's backed by neuroscience to help you make your vision a reality, but more importantly, doing it in a way that lights you the fuck up. If you're ready to create an aligned, magnetic, and profitable business so you can live a life and do the work you are absolutely in love with, you're in the right place. Get ready to hear the powerful questions and raw lessons that you need to create success your way. Thank you so much for being here. Let's dive in. Hey loves, welcome back to another episode of the Aligned and Magnetic Podcast. I want to share a little bit more about outsourcing your power. This is an extension of last week's episode on the number one thing that you can shift in your prayers or in like how you're talking to the universe to create the results that you desire. So if you don't know me, if this is the first episode you're ever listening to, or maybe me a little bit, I'm really big on co-creation. So it became really clear to me in my business that it doesn't matter like what I want and what I do. If I don't work with the universe, it feels really freaking hard for me to reach my goals. If I don't follow the intuitive guidance that is leading me to where I desire to be, if I don't trust in the messages that I receive or the guidance that I receive, and if I doubt my abilities and doubt myself instead of just going with what I know to be true and what I feel called to do, then shit feels hard, it feels heavy, it feels forceful, and then you burn out. Business isn't fun. Business is like just difficult and challenging, and it feels like shackles that are tying you down, right? And so I believe that like I started my business to have fun. I didn't start my business to create another like corporate job setting where I'm just sitting in an office doing shit that I really don't want to be doing. And so I really believe that we get to choose how we reach our desired goals. I believe that we get to co-create with the universe. We get to achieve the things that we want. Like when I say it didn't matter what I wanted, it does matter because you're always guiding the way forward. You're always identifying the focus. You are identifying the vision. You are identifying that bullseye, like where you are headed. And the universe is here to support you in that. So you can lean into that energy. You can lean into that support system by asking the right questions and by driving the focus forward. I'm going to dive a little bit deeper. I feel like this is hard to land. So I want to bring an example just from my coaching experience into the conversation because I feel like we could benefit from a little bit of concreteness. So a lot of clients come to the coaching experience feeling like their coach has answers that they don't have, wanting to obviously learn and be a good student, but the way that they maybe see themselves in the coaching relationship is like lower or less than, like they're here to learn from a mentor and they put their coach up on a pedestal. And this is a huge no. In coaching, we are partners. We are partnering. I have talents, you have talents, and we are combining them together to create something and to help you reach your goals. At least that's the coaching philosophy that I have. I don't treat my clients like they don't know things. I am really intentional and I'm always reflecting on power dynamics in coaching because there are really big power dynamics involved, and this is something that we need to be really aware of as coaches, I believe, when we're working with clients, because coaches do not like at the end of the day, we are not the secret to your business success. We are helping you to get more business results, like the results that you desire, but you are an equal player. I see all my clients as equal players. We are both masters in our craft in different ways. And when my clients ask me like, hey, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about this? I always turn it back and I ask them, well, what do you think? Because it doesn't matter what I think about it. Like, I could think something about your idea, but if you feel that idea is what's going to really change things for you, then like you got to follow that. You've got to trust in yourself and your intuition, right? And I notice a lot of my clients, not a lot of them, but some of my clients will come to me and be like, hey, what do you think about this strategy? Or what do you think about this post? Or like, what if I take it in this way? And like, I'm absolutely here for those conversations. But again, I care more about what you think about it, not about what I think about it. I can form judgments and opinions all I want, but at the end of the day, what matters most is you, because you're the one that's driving your business. You are the one that's leading, and you are the one that is going to go after the results that you want, right? So it matters less about what other people think, and it matters more about what you believe to be true, what you think, and what you, at the end of the day, what you want, right? And so that's a very similar example to how we can work with God or the universe. So when we are asking for support or asking for guidance from God or the universe, I mentioned in last week's episode that a lot of people will give up their power by, you want to talk? A lot of people will give up their power by just giving off like desperate vibes, like, oh, please God, I really need this. I really need this. And while, yeah, maybe like we do need certain things, and that can be a very beautiful place to be in, to surrender to a higher power, I think a more powerful energy is to really recognize all that God or the universe has given you, and that your needs are always met. And that, I mean, provided that's true for you, of course. I always notice that no matter what state I'm in, my needs are always somehow met. And maybe that's a privileged perspective to have. I don't know. But that's just my experience. And so when we are working with God or the universe, we can have better results when we act in partnership with God or the universe, right? Instead of like surrendering to this higher power and feeling like we have absolutely no sway in the end result and that everything is destined to just be how it is, I believe in two things. I believe that, yes, destiny exists, but I also believe that we have a piece to play in that, right? And so when we can take that partnership perspective and recognize ourselves as having that power within us. I left last week's episode off saying this, but we have the power of God. We have the power of the universe. We have that within us. We just have to harness that and step into that. And this is very much an energetic shift. It's not really something that you can explain or like do through an activity. And there's different tools and stuff that you can test out and try. But a lot of this comes out of the conversations that I honestly just have with my clients and the questions that I ask them and help them to reflect on. They start to click and like make those connections in their brain. And the reason being is everyone's experience is so unique and different that it's hard to just be like, oh, just practice this one technique and then you're going to, be in partnership with God. Like, I don't believe in that. So when you go to the universe, when you're turning to your spirit team, which, by the way, if you don't know yet, I believe that, for the people like you and I who came here to have a bigger impact, I believe that we are being guided. I do believe that we came here with a purpose, for a reason, to have some sort of impact in the world. And we're not alone in this, right? Like, we are not the only ones driving that ship. We do have access to that fifth element, if you will, that energy, that essence, that life force that keeps the world spinning, that keeps the world turning. And that is a little bit mysterious and nobody can really 100% understand or grasp, but it's just that feeling. I believe that we can all access that, and that we all would benefit from accessing that power to help lead our business forward. Now, one of the ways in which you can access this power is through your intuition. Your intuition isn't something that can be explained. It's not something that can be seen. It's just something that you feel, and no one can tell you otherwise. No one can tell you, like, no, your intuition's wrong, because it's not. It's your intuition. It's what, your inner knowing is and what you believe to be true. One of the ways that I actually help my clients with this and really starting to learn more about their intuition and becoming familiar with it is through human design. Human design, everyone's intuition feels different, and looking at your authority in human design is a really great starting point, and something that does actually take a lot of time and practice, because most of us are programmed or conditioned to make decisions with our mind, to weigh the pros and cons, and to think through, like, let's just think through this. Like, let's think about this, when really, I would argue, and this is just my experience, believe what you want, but I would argue that we actually know the answer within ourselves. And if you don't know, it's probably because you're disconnected from your intuition, or you're trying to force an answer that is not yet there for you. So we can become more connected with ourselves and with our intuition by doing practices, for example, like meditation. Yoga is a really great one. Walks, like silent walks, and just connecting with the elements, not like completing a walk to necessarily get your steps in and hustle and blah, 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 but just really relaxing into the walk and just being present on your walk. You are a crazy little monkey. You want to leave now? Are you going to bark at me? Please don't. All right. But really being present with what is, and meditating or focusing your awareness to either your breathing, your existence, your experience of existence, is a really helpful tool to tune into answers. So something that I often do in my business when I don't know what direction to go in, or when I know that I need to launch something, but I can't seem to find the momentum or the energy or the motivation to do it, is I will pray. I will ask. I will say, God, I know that this is next for me. I know that people need this. I know that this is what is coming. Please guide me. Please move me. Please show me what needs to be said or done, or whatever it is. And my job from there is to then tune in and listen for the messages. Now, in such a busy society that we live in, a lot of people aren't listening, and I include myself in that. Sometimes I get so caught up in life, gets super busy. Life gets to be full of taking care of your dogs and cleaning up shit when their stomach is upset, and wiping your baby's butthole and attending to a crying baby. Like, the life is lifing always, okay? And it won't stop lifing. Life never fucking stops. So if you're waiting for that moment when life can slow down, you are the one that's got to create that moment. You are the one that is in charge of creating those moments to slow down intentionally and to tune into who you are. Nobody will create that shit for you. So that is a really big thing. So if you are asking for that support, for that guidance, for the right strategy to drop in, right? Like, let's say that, okay, God, angels, universe, I really want to launch this program, but I know I need to provide value and, I don't know, like, share with the world, like, what it is that I have, like, what do I do? And while, yes, we can 100% lean on strategy here, I find that our intuition can actually guide that strategy so that we're not overcomplicating things, so that we're not going down paths that, maybe we feel like, oh, this will be the best strategy to do this for, but that we don't actually want to be doing. Our intuition is always there to help us steer that ship, to help us choose the path that is meant for us, right? And this is so valuable because there are so many different paths, there are so many different proven strategies, so many different proven tactics, but that doesn't matter as much as the way in which you desire to move into. And it might not be a desire, it might just be a pull or a calling or something that you feel like you have to do. And that is what we need to lean into. That is what is going to make a big difference. I've been super obsessed with Billie Eilish's new album. I know all of the songs. I know the order of the songs. I can sing all of them because I've been listening to this album on repeat, and I have not been obsessed with an album since Taylor Swift's Red album came out, which was like when I was in high school. I remember, I think I was either at work, so it may have been after high school, but I'm pretty sure it was I think I was in high school, and I remember going to the Penn Center in Niagara in St. Catharines and buying that album from, what the heck was the store called? Oh, it was the store that's like right beside Old Navy, but now it's different. Anyway, I remember buying the album and looking at that album on the escalator going back down to my car. Anyway, and I was obsessed with that album. So I haven't been obsessed with an album in years, but my theory behind this is, and I was never a Billie Eilish fan, okay? I heard like a song or two and I'm like, yeah, that's cute or whatever, but like I never really resonated with her. And she's recently come out in different ways as she's being more self-expressive, and I don't know her full story, but so I just Googled this, so I have something to work with. Billie Eilish's album, her latest album came out in spring of 2024, and she came out about being attracted to women in November 2023, supposedly. I feel as though this coming out and just embracing herself, she talks about some of this in she does this like YouTube, this Vogue interview or something every single year. And I think I watched maybe one or two of them, but her ability to just embrace herself as she gets older and to really just express who she is so magnetizing to me. And I want to share this because like I am not someone who obsesses over artists or music or anything like that. And this album, and of course they're using like different, it's like a fucking masterpiece. They use different, I don't even know what you would call it, but the combination of instruments and the way that they move the song, it's just like absolutely, it's art. It is so artistic. And I feel like a really big part of that has to do with embracing who she really is. And these journeys are not always the easiest journeys to go through, like embracing who we really are. And I don't even know how I got onto this topic because I feel like I was talking about something else. But embracing who we really are is a really big part of this puzzle piece, right? It's a really big part of shining your light and magnetizing the results that you desire. Aligned, magnetic, profitable is my framework. When you are who you are in your authenticity and you are sharing that with the world, you become so magnetic because you're not trying to be somebody that you're not. You're not trying to wear a mask and fit into a certain whatever it is. You are who you are and you are being who you are and you are sharing that. And there is something about that. Like if you've ever seen somebody like on TikTok or YouTube who is just doing the thing that they love to do, that shit is so magnetic. That shit is like addictive for people. We love to see people in their element. We love to see people who are happy. We love to see people who are in love with who they are. And so owning who you are is a really big part of this puzzle piece, right? Owning who you are, owning what you want, owning what you are going after, owning the work that you do, owning what you believe in. In another episode coming up, I will be talking about the mindset blocks that we have to overcome in order to get here, because I know for myself, like I have been feeling so bogged down by the burdens of the coaching industry lately. And I know my clients have been feeling like, well, what if I put this thing out there and it's not as good as I think it's going to be? Or like, what if so-and-so gives me a bad review? Or what if it's just not good enough? What if they cancel me online? We live in a society that is so quick to cancel people without even knowing the full picture of their story, without even giving the human on the other side of the screen compassion or the benefit of the doubt. We just jump straight to conclusions and make all of these assumptions about people on the internet that we really don't know anything about who they are. And this is really detrimental, of course, to our mental health and to, I think, also to our ability to take action. A lot of you are feeling paralyzed by, well, what if I actually say what I believe to be true and people don't like me anymore? What if I say what I believe to be true and people cancel me online? And these are really valid. And I don't believe that we need to share everything about what we believe and all of that jazz, but I do believe that we need to feel confident and comfortable being who we are and expressing ourselves, whether that is online or whether that's in a safe space. But the more that we can come to accept who we are and accept what we go through and accept our perspectives, accept our beliefs, rather than try to push them aside like a lot of people are doing, trying to push those beliefs aside, the limiting beliefs, and push forward and still get shit done and all of this jazz. Well, the more that we do that, the less connected we are to who we are. And a lot of the time, what happens is when there is a script running on the back of our mind about these fears, or like, what if they judge me? What if they this? What if they that? What happens is the things that we actually have to do, like the actual things that matter, slowly get pushed to the back burner. And we end up filling our time with all of these other things that will conveniently distract us or take away from the time that we need to spend on the things that we know we need to spend the most time on. Does this make sense? And so this is how I use intuition in my business, is tuning into the thing that I know that I need to do, and tuning, and not even like, I'm not going to know it until I tune in. So tuning in, quieting the mind, and being receptive, like being in that receptive state is so important. And a lot of people, I think, they try to just go right into a receptive state and then they're like, I don't hear anything. This is bullshit. Well, it takes more practice than just trying it once or twice. It took me a really long time actually to learn how to be in a receptive state, especially deconditioning from a world that is so go, 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 go. And I have to tell you, in the last couple of years of rebuilding my brand after going through a divorce, that it took a lot of hustle and push to get here. And I of course like had moments where I was like, okay, I need to relax. I need to step back. I need to like be in that receptivity. But I think that, you know, that hustle mentality, it's really easy to get sucked into that and just allow that to be the main driver, and to put like that receptivity, that relaxation, the art of literally just being present with life without having an agenda, without needing to do anything, without having to control or even talk about anything. Like, just that beingness often gets pushed to the side because there is no inherent result from it. And so when we continue to push that off to the side, we become more and more disconnected from ourselves, more disconnected from our inner voice, more disconnected from what we know deep down, but we can't really access it because we keep pushing that voice down. Does this make sense? I hope this is making sense. So I want to bring in one more example here to help just solidify this idea of what it really means to ask your spirit team for guidance and to collaborate or co-create with the universe. So again, this is not, I mentioned in last week's episode that at the very beginning of my journey, I really felt burdened to take on the responsibility of reaching my goals on my own and not really allowing life to do its thing, right? Not allowing the universe to do its thing, but really just like I had to make everything happen. And if I didn't do it, then I was like stressed the fuck out. And so you might be wondering, like, okay, how is this any different? It sounds like you're still making it happen on your own. Now, an example to put out there is, think about a time that you were in a group project, whether that's a project that you worked with your peers, or maybe you decided to collaborate with somebody else. Put your hand up if you were the person that took control and took the majority of the work on for yourself because you wanted the result to be perfect or to be at your standard. Okay. Now put your hand up if you were the person who felt like a bad group member because you were the person that always let somebody else lead and you slacked off because maybe you didn't feel as smart or you didn't feel like you could contribute. So the shift that we are looking for here is for the person who is always leading, for the person who is always wanting to maybe control the outcome or get a specific result, for the person who always takes on that burden, we are asking to really relax and to let go of that control and learn how to surrender and how to, yes, lead that ship forward, but not in a way that is so fixated on things looking a specific way. I had to do a lot of deconditioning around control freakism. I had to do a lot of work on learning how to surrender and learning that things don't have to go perfectly to still get the result that I want. And so I use a lot of different tools in my business now to support with this, one of them being the manifestation hack episode where I now make quarterly vision boards instead of making 30-day or like monthly goals. But I've had to really let go of how things manifest and just focus on what it is that I feel called to create and allow the universe to work its magic while still showing up and doing my part. So what this can actually look like is defining that end result, defining what it is that you want, asking the universe for support and guidance, identifying what actions you need to take, like how do you get the word out there? How do you let people know about this? How do you give or provide value or generate a buzz or whatever that is in a way that really lights you up and that is exciting to you? And then how can you let the universe surprise you by letting go of what specifically happens as a result? Something that I find helpful is to, instead of setting goals that are like, I want to receive 10K downloads by blah, 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 blah date, I find it more helpful to focus on actions. So this can take the stress off of like that result that's out of our control. While it is in our control, like we can definitely have that as a goalpost, but sometimes these things just end up happening as a result of the algorithm or whatever, and it can feel kind of like, well, how am I going to get 10,000 downloads? Stressful, right? What we can actually do is focus on like, okay, if I want to get 10,000 downloads, I'm going to post a podcast episode once a week for a whole year, or I'm going to post a TikTok video once a day for a whole year, or once a day for the next 90 days and see what happens, right? And so by identifying those actions that you can take helps to take the pressure off of the result and focus on what you can control rather than things that are out of your hands. And then for the person who tends to slack off, who tends to let other people take the lead and to do the least amount of work, in this scenario, we would be asking you to step up and to own what you can bring to the table and to own your power and to own what you have, like who you are, what you have. I know that a lot of beliefs run on the back of our minds, like, oh, well, this person's smarter than me, or oh, this person this, or oh, this person that. And the reality is that everyone comes here with their own unique gifts. And including like working with the universe, right? The universe is gifted at one thing, you're gifted at something else. Like the universe can whisper in your ear and tell you what direction to move in, or guide the movements, or show you the synchronicities, or give you the bright ideas, but you've got to be the one to action that out. You've got to move beyond your limitations and your belief systems to be able to take that action forward and to run with that idea. Otherwise, the ideas just stay there and they never get actioned out. And so what we're looking for here is that balance, that leadership, and taking a step back, and also the bringing your skills to that table and to lean in and lead with those skills, lean with your gifts, lean with your uniqueness. And I think a really big part of this is learning what works well for you. Like, this is why business, I think, is such an introspective personal journey, because it's really about, like, you're not going to start a successful business and feel happy in it if you are constantly just like doing everything that everyone else is doing or says works. Like, you've got to learn how to see yourself as the leader of your business and make decisions as the leader of your business and choose what is going to work best for you. As someone who has suffered a lot in this lifetime from comparison and, undermining my abilities and my results, and just always thinking that I'm behind or that other people are living a better life, which social media does not help us with this at all. But as someone who has compared herself to many people, it's so important to remember that everyone's life experience is so different. Context is everything. And really to look at and zero in on what you are living, and not what everyone else is living, but what you are living, what you love, who you are, and how you can bring that into the world versus like how you can keep up with everyone else. So I hope this was helpful. If you are taking anything away from this episode, I would love to hear from you. Please send me a DM on Instagram at Coach Lauren Ashley, or come and join our Telegram group where I post the episodes every time a new one gets released. And there's a comment section where you can ask questions, provide your insights, provide your thoughts, or get some support with something that you're working on. I'll leave the links to that in the description. And if you want to learn more about how you can surrender and how you can learn how to trust yourself, trust in your leadership, trust in your relationship with God, trust that you are not the only one making shit happen, that you can rely on the universe, that you can co-create with the universe, I would love to invite you to either sign up for Awaken the Goddess Within. This is a mini course with trainings that will help you to really understand and realize areas of your life that you are maybe trying to control, or areas that are holding you back from really expressing your fullest potential, and how you can tap into who you really are on the inside and decondition from who you are maybe taught to be by society, so that you can shine your light and magnetize the results in your life and business your way. So that's the Awaken the Goddess Within mini course. Or if you're ready to be part of a movement, a circle of women who are really supportive, and you're ready to really do this self-reflective work and learn how to co-create with the universe and implement that shit right away, then you are going to want to be part of Rise Goddess. This is my group coaching program. It is all about alignment and manifestation. It is all about tapping into your inner power and helping you step into that co-creative energy with the universe. It is about energetics. It is about business. It is about mindset. It's less about strategy. This is not a strategy business course. This is the personal side of business. But if you're not in business, this is also a really amazing program for you. I've helped many women in this space who don't have businesses, but they really gained a lot of personal confidence. They gained a lot of personal self-love, and they were able to really, process a lot of things that had been coming up for them and choose to move forward in a different way. I'll leave the links to both of these in the show notes so you can check them out. No pressure. I would just love to help you move forward in a way that feels aligned for you. And I will see you in the next episode. Remember to leave a review if this episode resonated for you or helped you in any way. I would love to hear it. And I'm sending you so much love.